Hey, what's going on, all you beautiful people? We're back working on the Hellcat. I haven't done much for a couple weeks. Been on holidays, all that kind of good stuff. We finally came back for a couple days, and so I figured I'd try and get something done in the shop here. From where we left off, I still have not found that frickin' marker. I have absolutely no idea where it is, but borrowed one of the daughters. So from here on in, I guess I'm going to be using crayons, which is appropriate for this build. Got my pipe coped, all that kind of good stuff is done. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting the rear diff transfer case and all that kind of stuff mocked in. And honestly, the more you look, the worse it gets. But there we are. We've got approximate layout. That shaft, the new drive shaft, is just obviously kind of mock bolted in. I've got the new output for the diff bolted on there temporarily. And then I've got this U-joint just kind of mocked in. It is by no means the original one or the one that's going to be going in there, but I just wanted to get a rough idea for spacing. And it seems to be actually spaced out not bad, considering that everything's sitting on a bunch of wooden blocks and a floor jack. I've got my ears for the rear differential and just measuring to those points on the back just to try and get a kind of a cross measurement. I'm within about of 1/8 to 1/4 inch out, so that's relatively good. I'm happy with that. My line, everything looks straight, so it's just a matter of getting all this sorted out. So what I've got to do from here on in now is I'm going to take this bar, I got to bring this bar up to that eyelid. I've got to bring that bolting down, so I'm going to build a plate across. And this guy here is a tad short. It's not the right length anymore, just because of the fact that with those bends and all that kind of stuff and having to cut that section, it did shorten up quite a bit. So unfortunately, I'm going to do a sleeve joint right there. I'm not overly concerned about it at this point, just because of the fact that I'm going to be doing a lot of bracing, a lot of plate and that sort of stuff in there, so it will be quite strong. So I'm going to bring it out a little bit to here, and I'm going to see if I just bring it straight maybe and do a crossbar and then bring everything up flush to the back of here and then to the back. That's going to get me a start point where I can start getting the rear suspension mocked up and start getting everything kind of fit and, well, really start making progress with this. Like I say, if this doesn't work, I may eventually down the road here ditch this T-case and go with like an Atlas or something like that. More gear reduction, all that kind of good stuff, and significantly smaller. This is, you know, free to me, so that's why it's so big. We're kind of doing a prototype thing here, so, well, we'll see if it works. But next step is start building the cross pieces and get this rear frame tucked in. And I've got a little bit of progress happening. So, kind of mocking up my rear arches. I think the last time I had a little piece of pipe and an eraser wheel sitting there. There's an eraser wheel. So I bent up this rear hoop to mount the rear arches. That's kind of how I'm thinking I'm going to have them tied in. I initially had them set off that guy there and that guy there, but it just didn't, it was just too narrow. So now I think have them running basically off these guys here. So it'll tie in right off the back. It's not going to be underneath, it's going to be off the back still, but I think it just looks a little bit better, a little bit wider, and then I can do my fill plate in there. So that's where we're at. I'm going to trim and gusset and notch those up, and I'm going to get them cleaned up and welded on, and then I'm going to start building the support brackets and the rear suspension to hang over top the rear. It's pretty tough making stuff symmetrical with that old girl, but it worked out not bad. So start building that up and start tacking some shit on. Moving right along here. So I've got the bars tacked into place. They're mounted down on there, so that's all good. And I've cut the factory stabilizer bar link bracket. I got it off the back of that guy there. So that's the factory back of the machine. I'm no longer going to use it, so I've got it set, cross measuring each to the outside stabilizer link bar, to the section. They're both 65 and 3/4, 65 and 3/4 inches, so they're bang on. And then I just dropped the level on here just to make sure I can get everything. Oh, my level's over here. So I put the level on it just to make sure everything is true and square, and it is. Perfectly level, so that's good. So then I'm going to take this piece here, I'm going to bring it out, I'm going to bring it down to there, and then off of these bars here, I'm going to do a gusset on either side. So I'm going to go off the top of here, up to there, and off the top of there, up to here, which will give it a lot more strength, just for up and down and whatever. Stronger is better at this point, so I'm just going to do a little bit more there. I will start doing, I believe, I'm going to do these guys first, see if I can't bring those. And yeah, starting to come. It's starting to look like something anyway. I'm happy that I've got the suspension on for the suspension mounts. They're not exactly how they were on the Wildcat to begin with. A little bit of forward or back angle is not going to be a big deal, just because of the fact that they are on Heims. And yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, all right. So what I've done is I kind of changed on the uppers here. Instead of going down into here, I just twisted them up and tied them up into there. And I can still do the gussets, kind of like I was saying there in the last video, off of there, wherever. But so now I've got this guy gusseted and this guy gusseted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over here. I've already kind of got it set in the bender. It's just sitting there. I'm figuring about 14 inches of pipe, but my plan is to take that pipe, bring it up, and start to curve it, and then bring it into here, tie it, and then I'll be able to plate this section in with 3/16 plate, so the diff will have a spot to mount. I'm not exactly 100% sure on the length, so I've got that pipe a little bit long, just because I want to be able to bend it. If I cut it too short, the rollers on the pipe bender may not hold it, so I'm going to keep it a little bit long, bend one, see how I like it, and then just kind of go from there. All right, we got our bend. It's a fairly simple bend. There's nothing too crazy, and I'm pretty happy with how that's going to look. You can see I'm going to plate this in here. I don't necessarily want to go with too much more of a bend, just because of the fact that I don't want it. I kind of want it to tie in, you know, so it doesn't look like just a huge chunk that just is sticking really far out. Like, I could bend it some more and have it come up and then really kick in hard, like a hard radius. But whereas this is kind of smooth, I don't know. I think it'll look a little bit better with a slight curve to it than a really hard kick. Just kind of tie it all nice and smooth, and it'll smooth it out, kind of look, I don't know, smoother. Yeah, weird. So, see if I can't replicate that again with another piece, and I'll get them notched up, coped, and weld them on. And there we go. We got our two bends. So, get a machine, get it trimmed up, burn it on, see if I can get the length right so I can get them on there and start welding. And I don't think I turned my gas on. Nope. There we go. We got the first one tacked in place. kind of the look, I guess. So, I don't know, all in all, I think it's looking pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna call it here for tonight though. I'm getting a little tired, having hard time concentrating and shit like that. So, but that's where we are currently, how it sits. So I'll be able to put my bracing in the back, and then I'll be able to have it spaced up. So pretty happy with that result.